Callie Henderson, Group Editor of Exchange Magazine, reporting live from the COMPTEL Plus Convention and Expo. I'm here with Eric Gutshall. He is the Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Hibernia Atlantic. Good afternoon, Eric.
Good afternoon, Callie.
Can you tell me a little bit about what Hibernia Atlantic does?
Yeah, Hibernia Atlantic is a private submarine cable owner. We work under the foundry of Columbia Ventures Corporation. And Hibernia Atlantic is a private submarine cable. It goes New York to London and a few cities in between.
And so who are your primary customer targets?
Primary customer target is mostly carrier. About 80% of our base of customers are carriers. Another 20% are high-end financial and or manufacturing companies.
That's really interesting. So why would somebody like a financial company want to work with a transatlantic cable provider?
Well, it's a wonder. They come to the wholesale provider and really cut out the carrier in between. But we find that high-end financials are buying like carriers, and they're looking for diversity and security on their network. For a lot of these folks like to be Sarbanes-Oxley compliant and would like to have diversity within their network. So they are actually coming to us for different routes to the Atlantic via Boston or Canada and into Dublin and Manchester in the northern half of the UK.
So can you elaborate on the diversity of your network? Why would they come to you for that?
Absolutely. Well, they come to us. We have a couple different routes that actually avoid Manhattan. They go into 165 Halsey Street, Newark, and Ashburn, and go north up Route 287 over the Tappan Zee Bridge and up into White Plains and then into Boston and overseas via Canada. So folks have come to us because they don't want to take the normal terrestrial routes that are associated with backhaul in New Jersey and Long Island, where there's been a lot of problematic outages in the past few years. There's only a few providers that actually provide backhaul on the Atlantic in New Jersey and actually in Long Island where it's aerial and natural. So people come to us and say, would it be okay if we go out of Boston and into northern half of the UK and come down into London that way? And on the reverse side, Collie, and when we look into London, we've actually painstakingly done some digs on our own, costing us millions of dollars to build around London. So we actually go into Reading and Egham and go around London and then go into Brussels, Amsterdam, Paris, and Frankfurt. So for folks that are looking for true diversity, they come to Hibernia for more project-oriented type builds.
I understand that there have been some interesting outages that really kind of bear out what you're saying. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, and it's painful for other, there's 86 submarine cables that wrap our globe tighter together. And to hear of other companies that had suffered outages, we know what that's like. There's been outages in the Pacific where all but one or two cables were affected in the Asia Pacific off of Taiwan due to seismic activity. In the Atlantic, there is some seismic areas we need to be concerned about, but I think when you look at the Irish Sea, another place that we have connectivity, there's two outages that really is left unknown to the world. When you look at Ireland, a 4 or 5 million person population, when there's an outage, it's actually huge. There's two cables that were cut and are still yet to be repaired in the Irish Sea, and we've taken a multitude of orders because of that. So for us, people come to us and say, we're looking for diversity, one in the Irish Sea, but also in the Atlantic. A lot of these New York and New Jersey-based terrestrial routes actually run through the same common conduit, and then again in London-based side in the UK, they land in the same location. So to land in a Bristol or a Bude and use the same common backhaul, there's folks that want to get away from that mentality and come in through Manchester in the northern half of the UK. So, outside of seismic activities, there's day-to-day backhauls, there's day-to-day outages, fires in co-location facilities and in manholes that people need to be aware of. And it's not just, seismic faults that take networks down.
In addition to the increased interest in business continuity, disaster recovery from your customers, they also are demanding a lot more bandwidth. Can you talk a little bit how you're meeting that request?
We are, and it's kind of interesting. We were on a panel this morning talking about Ethernet and the growth of Ethernet. Ethernet for us in the last year surpassed Sonet SDH. We're seeing now in excess of 60% of our circuits are Ethernet-based, more gig-E, fast-E. So folks are asking for connectivity that's Ethernet-based. For them, it's plug-and-play and it's easy. And they get away from the normal Sonet SDH world. And for folks, again, they know they can come to a wholesaler and turn that service up within a week or 10 days.
So you also just recently expanded into 10 gigabit, right?
We did. We expanded this past September 10 gig LAN PHY across the pond. There's been a lot of folks, the level 3s, Global Crossings, others that have been doing it in the terrestrial side. It's wonderful. They're competitors of ours. But we're doing it across the ocean, and across an ocean span's a little different. For us to provide 10 gig LAN PHY at 10.3125 across the pond, 6,000 kilometers is quite significant. Required some a change in some kit, equipment, and we're happy to do so. I'm very proud, a small company, Hibernia, part of Columbia Ventures, that we're able to provide such, for us, an historic event. There's others that are doing it over WAN PHY, over just over 9 gigs, but for us to be doing it 10.3125, we're giving folks 20% more bandwidth for just around the same kind of cost. Yeah.
Does it help them with their interfaces on their gear as well?
It does, and it's easy for them plug and play. I mean, you go to any of the world's greatest carrier-neutral sites, whether it be a Telehouse or Telex in New York City or Canix in Montreal, and if you walk in, everything you see is Ethernet. It's plug and play, what we like to call pizza boxes in the industry. It's very simplistic for folks.
And so what's the uptake since September?
Well, yeah, the uptake since September has been quite significant. Again, due to a few outages and the demand that is being put on ISPs and content providers to carry 10 gig LAN PHY, we've seen quite significant uptick. We've taken a multitude of orders, as I told you on the phone, not but a week ago. So it's been a really, the last couple of months have been a serious uptick in the business, and it's, as you can see at the show, COMPTEL here today, it's a very healthy show. It's a very healthy group.
In addition to your 10 gig expansion, you also have the terrestrial network that you talked about, and you're doing some innovations there.
That's right. We currently in 18 cities and 28 POPs. By the Q2 of this year, we're moving to 37 cities and 48 POPs, building out a terrestrial network that'll stretch down to Ashburn from Canada. And again, it doesn't have to traverse normal routes down I-95 via New York City. We have a route that goes around New York City from Halsey into Ashburn and wraps back up to Chicago on the west and pulls back through cities like Detroit, Cleveland, Philly, Pittsburgh. So for us, it's quite a large expansion that's taken place just after a European build that we were a part of in Brussels, Amsterdam, Paris, and Frankfurt. So we've been quite busy on the build side and moving westward. The goal is going to LA, San Jose, and Seattle here in the short term.
So, Eric, can you tell me, you've spent quite a pretty penny expanding these networks. What is the driver that's causing you to do that?
Well, the driver is just pure bandwidth. We're seeing, as you see in the show, it's very healthy, a healthy ecosystem in most all carrier-neutral places you go today. We're managing enough fiber to wrap the moon 2.5 times. I can't say the Earth like some of my competitors, but we're a small player who's continuously looking for wholesale needs for high-end enterprise and or wholesale customers. For us, it's providing a wholesale rate to the retail customer, and that's what we enjoy doing, and fixing problems for those that have problems. So,
thank you for your time.
Thanks.